what you put on the wall doesn't matter. What shows up in the behavior of your people is actually your culture.
I was on the phone with a CFO recently inside one of my companies, and he was talking about he had come from very large corporations, and he felt like values were not really that important. They're just things that were on the wall and that weren't lived by. And I thought that was a really interesting perspective. And so for him, there was a wholesale discount of its importance. So only a fraction of people even know what the culture is, and a smaller fraction believe that they're in a good space with culture. When you think about that, how do you adjust a culture that maybe has been neglected, that hasn't been focused in on, like you have to reinvent it, the words were just on the wall and we haven't, been accountable to them and calling out, behaviors that are adverse to the values, first time, every time.
Sure.
So how do you any suggestions for a CEO who maybe is looking and saying, you know what, my culture isn't exactly where I want it to be? How do you get them to level that up?
Yeah, we never go into an organization that says we don't have values here, right? They're always on the wall. Is that where we want values to show up? No. Do you know who sees the values on the wall? The customer who is not being treated with those values sees that. That's of no use whatsoever. I keep telling myself I'm going to memorize this, and I haven't done it yet. Enron had their mission statement engraved in 11-inch gold leaf letters in Houston and New York, right? And it was integrity and intelligence and all of that sort of thing. We know that they are synonymous with thieving and cheating and lying and stealing and all of that sort of thing. What you put on the wall doesn't matter. What shows up in the behavior of your people is actually your culture. And take it off the wall and sit back and you observe. I'm doing three people's job. Well, that will make anybody act countercultural in some ways. So it's very much a CEO-led conversation, observation, reflection that has to take place. And it's okay with me if you want to use the values that you think you have, but you have to be really open and very much committed to the truth to know that you are not acting inside of the parameters of those values. And your values must be aspirational as well. So it can't be we do that 100% of the time, we don't need to think about it. Well, if that's the case, then your culture is not big enough. You need to have more of that.
I think it's so important. I think the easiest way that I've heard culture explained is it's what you celebrate and it's what you don't tolerate. So the words can be on the wall, doesn't matter. It's what we actually are doing day in and day out. It's how people feel when they go home at night. Are they excited and holy smokes, I get to work with Trey, this is amazing, he's smart and all of these things? And yet you're right, companies miss the mark on this one so much.